You're about to learn money habits that will lead to stress-free wealth and allow you to have money in abundance even if you don't make a whole lot of money. Now, there's a few things I'm going to share with you, and it's in no specific order because everybody's situation is different. However, the thing that I want you to do is just think about, how does this apply to me? Not if this apply to me, but how does this apply to me? Because so often we just automatically just tune things out and we think it does not apply to us, and sometimes it has so much value that we didn't even see because we automatically just shut it off because we just thought that it does not apply to me. And if we think something does not apply to us, then we're not going to pay attention to it whatsoever. So I want you to truly think about, how does this apply to me? When I'm talking about the various habits that's important for people to implement if they truly want to build stress-free wealth and have massive savings and just money that they have in abundance that they can do whatever they want to with. Now, the first thing that I think is really, really important for people to do is to give your money a job instead of using your money to cope with your job. So many people that have a job, they actually use money to cope with their job instead of giving their money a job. What do I mean by give your money a job? When it comes to super wealthy people, and even people that are not super wealthy, their money is never unemployed. Their money is always working for them. Even if it's only making a little bit of money, it's like their money is at least doing something. But when you have money that's just sitting idle, your money is too comfortable. Your money is too relaxed. And you might be thinking, Chris, well, what can I do to get my money to work for me? There is a ton of things that you can do to get your money to work for you. So I would encourage you to just think about at least three things. Three things that you could do right now to get your money to work for you. One of the easiest things is lend your money. Think about this. Success leaves clues. When you want to borrow like money for a big purchase, what do? You go to a bank, and the bank doesn't just give you the money for free. They charge you interest on it. You can actually do the same thing with your money because there are so many like small lending opportunities for your money to make money. So that's just even one of so many things that you could do. But I encourage you to think about at least three things that you could do to get your money employed, like give your money a job. Because again, when people think about using money to cope with their job, then they're never going to get wealthy because it's like a cycle. It's like if you use money from your job to cope with your job, you got to stay at that same job because you don't have any money or financial strategy, if you will, or any kind of investments to get you from that job for you to fire it. And so the more that you use money to cope with your job, the more you're going to be dependent on the very thing that you're coping from. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, the one thing that I think that is really, really important is even when you find different ways for your money to work for you, think about giving your money like a higher title, if you will. Because again, sometimes when you get a higher title, you got to work a whole lot harder. So the first thing is just getting in the game, like getting your money to make a little bit of money for you. But once you get your money making a little bit of money for you, now it's time to amp it up and see how you can get your money to make even more money for you. And the thing that I think is really, really important to understand is that whenever you're doing something that you don't truly love and you're not fulfilled to do, sometimes people make the mistake of feeling like they deserve. Because maybe they work 12 hours, or maybe they work 7 days in a week, or maybe they work 30 days straight. They fall into the trap of, I deserve blank because. So that might be, I deserve to buy this expensive watch because I've worked, 3 months without any time off. And you think about this, and again, you can plug in whatever you want. I deserve blank because blank. So when people convince themselves that they deserve something because how hard they worked at something that they truly don't enjoy doing, they're truly setting themselves up to stay stuck in that cycle of whatever they're doing that they truly don't want to do. Because whenever you start telling yourself and justifying why you should get something because you deserve it, what you're doing is you're just moving the freedom line further and further back. You're moving the freedom line further and further back because everything that you spend money on because you feel like you deserve it, that's also that's a coping gift. Like that's not a fulfillment gift, that's a coping gift. You're buying yourself this because, and you're buying yourself this as a means to cope, to continue on. And it just moves the wealth line and the freedom line further and further back, which, if you do that, you'll never reach it. Because if you continue to buy yourself things because of how hard you work and you're not giving your money, some type of job, then you're going to be stuck. in that situation forever. And it's also important to rebuke the curse of being rich. Like, so many people, they think about, and I think sometimes it's unconscious, like they think about, like, man, if I get all of this money, then, people are not going to like me. My friends are going to talk about me. My family might think I'm acting brand new. My friends might feel like I'm losing, like I'm leaving them behind. And sometimes, people create problems that doesn't exist. And sometimes people try to solve problems that they don't even have yet. Because you have some people who, they think about being rich and being wealthy as something that's negative because of all of the potential things that can happen. Their friends won't like them. They'll be ostracized from their family. People will probably talk about them like they talk about other wealthy people. And sometimes these people are like $400 from even. Like, meaning that they're $400 in the hole. Like, they don't even have really like any money at all, but they're thinking about what's the negative things that are gonna happen when they get wealthy. And so I want you, if you've ever done that before, to truly rebuke the curse of being rich. Because there's so many different things that support and songs and all this kind of stuff, more money, more problems. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's more money, but different problems. Sometimes it's more money, better problems. Because sometimes, even though we think of the word problem as being negative, but sometimes a problem can be a good thing. Like, man, I have so much money, I have to figure out how can I spend money to get tax write-offs. That's a good problem. So I want you to just really understand, like, the importance of rebuking the curse of being rich, because sometimes people will unconsciously and even consciously sabotage themselves from ever getting rich or wealthy because all of the negative things that they've imagined will happen once they get there. And it's like, just take the first step, because even if it's somebody else's experience, it does not have to be yours. Because so often it's like, we might be told something specifically, like it's going to turn out this way. That's that person's experience. It doesn't have to be yours, because there's a lot of rich and wealthy people that are happy, got great relationships with people, and sometimes people don't even know that they're wealthy and rich because of how they carry themselves. Because there are so many wealthy and rich people who make more moves and less announcements. And that's how you want to be. You want to be a person that makes more moves and less announcements. Because that's when you have true wealth, because you don't need people to validate your income, and you don't need people to know how much money you have for what you have to be valuable. Because, and again, I don't want to get into all of that, but again, wealthy people, they make more moves and less announcements. Because a lot of times when people announce what they have, they really don't have that much. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they have to spend money on marketing what they have, and it's like, as they're spending money on marketing, their wealth and riches is just slowly dwindling down. So never let that be you. And a lot of times people, like, they care too much about what potential people might think in the future. And the reality is this: people are going to talk about you either way. And the reality is this: sometimes people are not thinking about us as much as we think they're thinking about us, because they're thinking about them. And just like we're thinking about us. And if you're thinking about just different ways that you can become wealthy, you can become rich, you can become the best version of yourself, you don't have time to think about anybody else. And so often, even if people are not thinking about it from that perspective, they're thinking about, being found out, like their insecurities, how much debt they really have, how life is really going behind the scenes. So a lot of people are truly consumed with thinking about themselves. And so people are not thinking about us as much as we think they are. So even when it comes to wealth, rebuke the curse of being rich in terms of thinking about what other people might think about you, because they're not thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you. And even if they are thinking about you, whatever they think about you, it's their problem and their issue, and it's not yours. Now, if you are somebody who truly wants to build stress-free wealth and make at least $100,000 based on information that you already know, I want to invite you to go to mywealthversity.com. mywealthversity.com. And you can go there, and there's over probably about $1,500 worth of bonuses that you're going to get for just $1. 7 days, $1 over $1,500 worth of bonuses to truly help you to get from where you are to where you want to be, and truly build stress-free wealth and at least make $100,000 from information you already know. Thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.